Hey, how's it going, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, my name is Big Ball Vlogs. I do reviews, news, everyday vlogging, and every once in a while I'll do a tutorial. If this video is educational, somewhat entertaining, please consider smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel for new videos when I post them. So this is actually a retake, take number 2 of this video. I actually just shot like this 30-minute long. I didn't even realize I just shot like this 30-minute long video that went through every step of kind of installing and talking about these antennas. And then I realized, like I said, I'm kind of behind on this one. I ordered these a month ago, over a month, like maybe a month and a half ago from AliExpress, the Iflight store. It took a month and a half for me to get them. I was like, where's my stuff? It got returned and it was sent back out. And in the meantime, everybody and their mother's probably doing reviews on these or selling them in their online stores. So I thought what I would do is just kind of give you a quick overview. I mean, keep it kind of short in this video. Talk about, how I'm going to be flying it. I'm going to be flying it with one of my 5-inch builds. I don't think I've ever shown you guys this 5-inch build because it's probably not in its final form factor. While I started building quads, I was buying components and then, testing them out, and I didn't want to talk about them. I don't want to talk about them unless I feel like they are competent or they're good enough for me to recommend to you. So in this situation, I had like 2 different sets of motors. These are I think these are TCHRC, I think that is. I can't remember how you pronounce it, but these are 2205, 2300 kVs. And this is a relatively heavy quad. I intended this to be sort of like a long range cruiser. But I didn't want to talk about this quad. So I guess now what I'll do is I'll talk about it while I talk about the antennas. I built this from some parts off of Amazon, so I'll put the link to all of the parts in the description below if you want to pick these up. As I've told you in the past, I built quads based on, bang for the buck, not really trying to build a Ferrari. I wasn't trying to put like Ferrari wheels on it, wasn't trying to put a Ferrari engine in it. I was just trying to get something that would get me up in the air, and if I crashed, I wouldn't be crying because it, kind of cost me a lot of money to repair it. So these motors are relatively expensive. I think I paid like 40 bucks, 43, 46 bucks most for a set of them. Again, flying that tried and true Mamba 405 MK2. Tried and true, alarm, everything I need, it works. And on this particular quad, I installed a GPS unit because, like I said, this was going to be a long range kind of cruiser, just to kind of get it out there, put some distance on it and see what this thing can do. Little bit of a backstory. The reason I wanted to do long range is because everybody's doing these long ranges, and many years ago, one of my first helicopters was called an Eco 8, and that was before lithium batteries. So we were building these helicopters using nickel cadmium cells, and the Eco 8 at the time was this little light flimsy frame thing that claimed that it had long flight times, which were probably about 5 or 6 minutes. Then people started pulling lithium ion batteries out of drills, and people had records for flying Eco 8s for like 2 hours or something ridiculously long. And I was trying to break one of those records. So when I heard the long range and I heard long flight times, I definitely thought that I would try that with a 5-inch because I like 5-inch versus a 4-inch, which everybody's kind of like building. And this was going to be kind of the platform to build that on. But it's relatively heavy. It's got a big, heavy battery in it. I'll probably have to trim that down with some lithium ions. This is a 1500 milliamp hour 4-cell 4S, whereas you can get probably like a 3500 milliamp hour 4-cell LiPo, which is probably a lot lighter with a hell of a lot more capacity. Other than that, it's got the full-size Dji Air unit in it. Frame, like I said, is relatively, I don't know, this is a heavy build. I'm not going to lie, I feel like it's a heavy build compared to some of the other things I've held. It's definitely not what you would call a toothpick, but again, I built it for a specific purpose, which I might have to modify. So because I thought that this would be, the long range build, I actually needed a set of patch antennas where I kind of came across, I was looking for patch antennas and I came across these. These are the Iflight face shield patch antenna. So there is a patch antenna built into or behind each side of the face shield here, and as you can see, it's got 2 little coaxial cables hanging out of the top. I bought this kit with the face shield and 1 set of stubby antennas. I also bought a second set of stubby antennas because I realized that I would not always want to fly with a directional patch antenna on, because they are, when it comes to directional, they are what they claim to be, directional. So if I am facing in this direction and the quad's in that direction, you're not going to get the best reception and you're not going to get the best distance. It kind of, cones out, but you kind of got to have this thing in front of you in order for it to get the best reception and distance. And if you've ever flown, your DJI drones using a set of patch antennas, fortunately you have telemetry on it, so you can kind of see that the drone's going to the left, and you can turn your head to the left and kind of, get the better signal. That's what the GPS was for. It allows me to kind of determine what direction the quad is flying in and kind of keep it out in front of me. But Again, I wanted to come out and kind of just show you these. I wanted to do an install, but I kind of did that behind the scenes. It's very simple to install these antennas, or actually install a faceplate on a DJI pair of goggles, FPV goggles. All you do is remove these 2 screws. That's it. Faceplate pops off. This is my original faceplate, which you've seen in other videos. It is a very thin piece of, I don't know, tin or aluminum. It's very, very thin and light. And that's something you should consider when replacing this, because this is a beefy piece of plastic with a substantial amount of weight to it compared to that, because it has the 2 patch antennas built into it. But other than that, you pull off the 2 screws, put the 2 screws back in, and you're good to go. Align the antenna cables with either the top or bottom, depending on where you want to connect them on your goggles, and fly. One thing that you also should note is, from the research that I've done, I think the top 2 antennas on the DJI goggles are for sending and receiving, and the bottom 2 are simply for receiving. So if you're planning on using this for long range, you probably want to connect these to the top 2 so that you can send and receive and get optimal distance and optimal transmission back to your goggles. But other than that, man, I mean, like I said, they look really good. I didn't think I was going to like it that much. I know I like red. I don't think I like these antennas as much anymore, because those color splashes are kind of like, they got this little skull pattern on it. I don't know if I can get that to focus, because I'm in like this focus mode right now. It's got this little skull pattern on it, which, if I can get it to kind of focus in there, find a face, find a face. It focuses on my face, but it's got this little skull pattern on it, and then it's got all kind of little, like hearts and stuff, I think they call them color bombs that are all over it. Didn't think I would like those, so I'll probably end up either rewrapping them with, I don't know, like maybe some kind of black shrink wrap, or maybe even just spraying them a different color to kind of get them to match the goggles. But other than that, my remote control is buzzing because I haven't touched it in about 5 minutes. What we're going to do is I'm just going to fire this up real quick. I'm going to fly this thing around, see if it flies, see if I get any signal interference, which I already did. But this is my second time doing it. I just want to make sure that everything's good. I have not tested with the long range because, again, I'm not trying to do any long range flights out here. Definitely, you know, with people in the FAA and everything. Don't want to get into that. But I just want to kind of get up in the air and give you guys an idea of what it looks like when it's in the sky. And probably do a couple flips and rolls with my little long range beast here, because for what it is, even though this thing is heavy, it flies so well. It flies and flips and loops like so well, that I don't know why I don't fly it that often. So let's get into it. Let's stop talking. Let's get into it. Power these up real quick. I also got this, I forgot my normal battery, so I got this freaking lithium ion battery, and the DJI goggles are voltage vampires. They will suck the life out of a battery. So normally I'm flying with my 3S lithium pack with a long cable that goes into my pocket, and then I pull my head and it pulls my head down. In this situation, I got a little portable one here. One thing you should also know, if you plan on putting on a set of patch antennas, if you're like me, where you fly pretty much with your head down like this all the time looking at the ground, don't even think about putting patch antennas on like this, because they're going to be pointing directly down to the ground. You might want to get yourself a pair of the flexible style patch antennas that you can screw in, so you can point them up while your head is normally pointing down at the ground. But again, these look really, really cool, and I will just leave them on just because of the look, even though I'm not using the antennas right now. So let me power this thing up. Give it a second. Should probably actually calibrate it, let that thing calibrate itself down on the ground, because it was flat on the trunk of my car. It's a little bit kind of angled. I'm still laved in, so I'm gonna try to do this while pulling my phone down off the car. I'm laved in, and let's give this thing a little bit of a flight. So I'm not going to do a full flight on this one, because this battery combination with this quad will fly for about 10 minutes. I'm going to probably take it around a couple loops around the field here, and then bring it back down. I might even cut in some video from the previous video that I shot, which I'm sure I have saved on the card, in the goggles, and on the DVR. But just for this video, let's try to keep it down to 2 minutes, so I don't have you watching me for like another 30 minutes. All right, so let's go. There's a guy out here in the field with a metal detector, so I'm trying to go stay away from him. Yeah, man, I really do love the way this thing flies. It flies like a plane. That's the best way I can explain it. Like with my other quads, they fly like quads where I feel like I'm flying a quad. Like I gotta think about how to turn this thing. This thing flies, and I know it sounds cliche, but people would say this thing flies like it's on rails, and it is super fast for such a big quad. Man, it handles that without any problems at all. I have no signal interference, and because there's people walking around out here, normally I would try to dip and dodge between the dugouts and play around out here to see if I get any signal interference. I know this thing is kind of behind me right now, so it's not even out in front of me. I gotta be careful, right, because one of these freaking fields has a huge net around it. But with the goggles, you can definitely see that. It's this field right here. See the net in the background. See it? Gotta make sure I avoid that. Yeah, remember there's a guy out here somewhere. And what I normally never get into, because I don't like playing around power lines, but let's just do a quick signal antenna test. These power lines right here. See if I get any signal drop out. Nothing. Gotta sneak in here and fish this pond one day. All right, got a little bit of a dropout when I get close to the ground there. We're good. I think that's it, fellas, or ladies and gentlemen. I think that's it. My hands are cold. The antennas seem to be, got a little bit of a dropout right there, 1 bar. Nothing substantial, not sure why. I am kind of flying close to the ground. And again, I'm probably not facing, I forget what direction I'm facing. So I was facing the wrong direction, but still nothing to worry about in my opinion. Yeah. Nothing to worry about in my opinion. No dropouts at all. So let's bring her in and let's end this video. A little bit muddy there. I don't want to drop it in the water. Yeah, I can't tell. It's muddy. I'm gonna just drop it there. So I'll go get it. But just like I said, I wanted to give you an idea of what these new antennas were about. Give you an overview of how weight, how they feel, how they function. I don't think they function any differently or any better than right now than the stock antennas. I'm really not a guy that likes to change out a lot of stuff if the stock antenna is working. But one thing that worried me about the stock antennas is the fact that they are so long that putting them in and out of the case with the antennas on it worries you. It makes you feel like you want to snap them off. Also, I don't want to take them off all the time because there is the potential, if you were to accidentally, because you're in a rush, power up your goggles. You get your goggles out, you power them up, and then you go to put your antennas on. There's the potential that you damage the radio equipment inside the goggles, which I definitely don't want to do. So there you go. The Iflight patch antenna, stubby antenna bundle. I bought it as a bundle. You can buy it as the patch antenna without the stubbies, or you can buy the stubbies by themselves, or you can buy it with the patch antenna with 2 stubbies and then buy additional stubbies, which is what I did for about 60, 75 bucks. Other than that, I'm done. I'll talk to you later.